If you have applied for a job, you will probably be called for an interview where a panel of experts will examine you and ask you questions to find out the strengths and weaknesses in your personality. You will have to convey the best qualities that you have, the sum total of your achievements, and to convince the interview board that you are the right candidate for the job. Now, do you have the communication skills to do that? To help you answer this question, let's watch 2 interviews for the post of lecturer in English. The same candidate, Mr. Narang, appears at both the interviews, but he is projected in 2 different lights. Now we can analyze his performance at both the interviews and compare them. We can also tally our reactions with the opinions expressed by the members of the board after the interview is over. This will help us to form a clear picture of what it is that counts for success at an interview. Remember, we are trying to test the candidate's knowledge of his subject, his field, his general approach to his profession, and his general attitude to life. We're also trying to find out what positive qualities he has that will stand the organization or the institution in good stead. Well, let's go over to the interview room.
Take it easy.
Sorry.
Well, Dr. Narang, I hope you have had a comfortable journey to Delhi.
So how can one have a comfortable journey in India with all the crowded buses and, the trains are not on time?
Well, anyhow, let's have a look at your qualifications now. You said that you did your BA Honours from Delhi universities and secured 2nd division, and then MA also from Delhi University, 2nd division again. But for PhD, you shifted to Merit University. Mrs. Ahmed, would you like to ask some questions?
Thank you. Well, Dr. Narang, what was your PhD thesis about?
Ma'am, it's on Graham Greene, the British writer. I have proved that Greene's characters show the consequences of early childhood traumas and victimization. In fact, it leads to development of criminal characters who are the anti-heroes of his books.
Oh, so yours is a study in child psychology. Do you think Freudian ideas might have contributed to Greene's views?
May not directly. Most moderns are in one way or the other influenced by the Freudian theories of human subconscious. But I think Greene's characters are often depicted as unreeling monologues in their psyche when under stress.
Would you say that there is any autobiographical element in his works?
Yes, to an extent that he himself had a very traumatic background. His school life wasn't very up to the mark. But he hasn't turned out to be a criminal. In fact, he's a successful writer.
Talking of novel, could you tell us how you would teach a novel like Pride and Prejudice, which is prescribed in our university?
So I would first give them a few background information lectures on, let's say, the customs and the life prevalent at that time. Then I would develop on the character, the themes, the plot, and so on.
What about asking the students to read the novel?
Sir, I do, but they never read the text. You see, I try to give them as much information as possible so that they can pass the exam. And then they depend on those bazaar notes,
Now, have you published any papers recently?
Yes, ma'am. I have written a paper to prove that Shakespeare borrowed ideas from Indian history, the Indian myths and sources.
That's fantastic. I'm afraid I find that rather difficult to accept.
Why should it be difficult to accept? If Russians can prove that Shakespeare was a Slav, then why can't we lay some part of his genius could be ours also?
Right.
So you think it's a question of national pride?
Surely, sir, India is the mother of all world cultures.
What would you say about teaching Shakespeare at the BA level? Do you think it should be taught?
Of course, how can you think of the syllabus without the great bard? Ever since Macaulay introduced English in India, we've been quoting him for every small thing in life. To be or not to be, and that's the question.
Well, that's what you can say when your students want you to quit the class.
But sir, I think that Shakespeare can be taught, English can be taught through Shakespeare in India.
You mean Shakespearean English?
Well,
One last question, Dr. Narang. We also have a study center of the Indira Gandhi National Open University in this college. So we have to take counseling duties here. What do you think of this new system of education coming up in this country, distance education? Can we teach students English at a distance?
teach English at a distance? Might as well enjoy the cool weather at the hill station by watching a film on Mussoorie.
But you know, there are people who are employed and many who benefit and profit from English programs on the TV and radio.
You may think whatever you like, but I stick to my point of view.
Well, you may go now. Thank you. That's all.
All?
Well, maybe what do you think of the candidate?
Well, his knowledge of Graham Greene is quite all right. But on the whole, his views on English teaching are illogical and rather queer. His reasons for teaching Shakespeare is his personal fancy for the poet.
And to be honest, I find him rather very inflexible in his views. I mean, he doesn't even want to consider any merit in distance education. He just dismissed it.
And I think he also lacks originality.
Yeah.
Certainly not a well-groomed candidate.
Yes, I also feel he lacks overall perspective.
That's true.
And I wonder if our students or staff will put up with the overbearing manner that he has. Obviously, he's not the right candidate for us.
Certainly not.
I'd agree with you.
I'd
yes.
agree. I'd agree.
I think so.
Did you notice any other shortcoming in Mr. Narang's performance? A clumsy and nervous sort of candidate who pays but casual attention to what is being said to him by the interview board shows that he lacks interest in the whole procedure, probably because he's not well prepared, and therefore also lacks confidence in himself. Do you remember the very first answer he gives the interview board? How can a journey in India ever be comfortable? Is he a grumbling sort of person? A resentful employee who has a grievance against everything in general? At least this is what comes through in the undertone of his voice. And the experts on the committee would not have failed to hear this.
I think we have gone through the biodata.
Now let's watch the second interview.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Narang, I hope you had a comfortable journey.
Very fine, sir. No trouble whatsoever. Thank you for asking.
You say that you've done your BA honors from Delhi University, MA also from Delhi University in second division, and PhD from Meerut University. Right. Dr. Ahmed, would you like to put some questions?
Thank you. Dr. Narang, what was your PhD thesis about?
It was a study on childhood influences on the characters of Graham Greene's works.
What is it that you were trying to prove?
I mean, Greene's works, childhood influences are the embryonic stage of life. All the experiences of early life are responsible for formation of personality or character of his heroes.
Did you say heroes? Because aren't Greene's heroes referred to as anti-heroes?
Yes, ma'am, they are. Because they are portrayed as frustrated and sinful in nature. They are fighting for an identity in an alien world. Their sinfulness and corruption are the result of victimization by society and father figures in early life.
Do you believe that the early influences of childhood can be erased by later indoctrination and love and education, etc.?
I believe they can be, but with a great difficulty. For Greene, however, I think these are irreversible and ineradicable.
Dr. Naran, could you tell us how you would teach a novel like Pride and Prejudice, which is prescribed in our university?
Well, I would first ask the students to read the text. This I would insist on. In the first lecture or so, I would give them some background information on the social customs and the other prevalent customs in England at that time. Then I would pick up passages from the book and talk on the theme, characters, plots, etc. I insist on student participation. I encourage it rather.
Well, Dr. Naran, have you written any papers recently?
Yes, sir. I have written a paper on teaching language through literature.
What have you tried to prove?
I've tried to show that for communicative skills, special courses in functional English are required. For humane education, we cannot do away with literature. And there needn't be such a clear-cut division of language and literature. We can teach language skills through literary extracts.
Could you give us an example?
We'll take something simple as vocabulary. We can show how words extend their meaning, have multiple meanings, or even overlap their meanings. Now, let me try and recall. For an example, Tagore's Hungry Stones. The Sasta chatters over the stony ways and babbles on the pebbles.
What future do you see for English in India?
Well, I think, ma'am, English is indispensable for India. Our national development has taken place through this language. Our scientists cannot work in isolation from the rest of the world. A lot of international journals are in English. A universal variety of English is being used in international telecommunication, travel, tourism, hotel, industry, and so on.
What do you think has been the main cause for the deterioration of English language skills in our country?
First, the policy towards English in many states has not been very encouraging. In some states, it is not even necessary to pass an BA degree within English as a compulsory subject. Second, the English syllabus is divorced from the learner's real needs and it is not vocational. Thirdly, many teachers are not even properly trained to teach the language. So they are not able to motivate the students as such.
Dr. Naran, our college is one of the study centers for Indira Gandhi National Open University, which you know is a distance teaching university. What do you think of distance education system? Do you believe that English can be taught through the distance education system?
Yes, sir, it can be. Especially in cases where people are employed and cannot go to a campus. Distance courses can be tailor-made to the needs, and the use of media components like audio and video components can get the best of teachers to the students. So these self-instructional packages can be used to supplement the teaching of English in the classrooms.
What have you been reading recently, Dr. Naran?
Not very ennobling literature, ma'am. I've been reading Alistair MacLean's Where Eagles Dare. I usually read light fiction when on journey.
Do you know who wrote India, A Million Mutinies?
Yes, Napoleon.
Right. And what do you think of his attitude towards India?
Well, in general, he has not been very kind towards India. he hates the squalor and corruption here.
And who wrote City of Joy?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't know the answer.
Well, Dr. Narang, unfortunately, in our college, we have to face a lot of student unrest. How would you tackle this kind of problem?
Well, so one of the reasons why I want to take up this job, or if I get it at all, is the welfare of students as such. You have to be very careful in handling students. You have to tackle them with great tact, love and sacrifice to overcome these problems.
Thank you, Dr. Narang. I think that will do.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Well, what do you think of this candidate?
Well, I feel his perception of his own thesis is okay. He could describe his thesis succinctly and show how his own views are different from those of his author.
And I found that he's keeping abreast with the latest, like distance education. And he's even able to relate it to his conventional system. I thought that was quite good.
And he carries a wide perspective on English language in general also.
Yeah.
Yes, I think what matters most is not the knowledge of details only, but one's balanced attitude to teaching, one's belief in humane literary education, and the need for communicative teaching at the same time. So I think he's the right person for us.
Yeah,
Certainly, yeah.
I would say.
Thank you.
In his second performance, Mr. Narang is more relaxed and cheerful and does not forget the necessary gestures of etiquette. If there are a few factual errors, they are nicely made up for by a sense of humor. Besides having a good grip on the knowledge in his own field, he is able to answer questions on distance education. Now that was good anticipation. Enthusiasm for the profession one has chosen is of prime importance. Mr. Narang gives the impression that he would like to participate in the ups and downs of the institution and not be a mere salaried employee. Nowadays, many organizations and companies do not hold formal interviews. After screening applications, they shortlist the most promising candidates according to their qualifications and work experience. And then they call these candidates over for a social get-together, an informal lunch, where in a comfortable and relaxed atmosphere, the candidate is allowed to unfold himself better. The company officer who is there observes him carefully to find out what interactive skills he has, whether he will be able to socialize well with his colleagues in the company, whether he is informed about the latest developments in his own field and can express an opinion on current issues. What professional and technical skills does he have? Can he solve human problems? All these are necessary to project a good image of the company. Now let us recall what we've learned in today's program. In order to improve your chances of success at an interview, you must be well prepared. This means you must be well informed in the field of specialization or interest, which you have mentioned in your biodata. And you should be able to anticipate questions regarding the functioning, aims and objectives of the institution which is holding the interview. All this will help you to relax and unfold yourself better. You must display an open mind, the ability to accommodate your strategies to new developments, techniques and ideas coming from other sources. You must display good interactive skills and an ability to socialize well, a cheerful disposition, and last but not least, good listening habits. We wish you all the best at your next interview.